Good evening and welcome to a balmy evening in Manchester. Manchester City against Napoli to kick off their Champions League campaigns, and it is a return to the elite European competition for Serie A champions Napoli, who missed out last year. Manchester City, they might have been in the competition last year, but it was really a year to forget as they crashed out in the pre-last 16 playoff round. They are hoping for better this season, but for Pep Guardiola, this game has been sandwiched in between two massive Premier League matches. The derby successfully navigated on Sunday. This weekend they travel to Arsenal, so a few interested in what the team lineup might be, and I can tell you there are no changes from the starting 11 that started against Manchester United at the weekend. So Gianluigi Donnarumma, the Champions League winner, he starts in goal. It is a back four again of Nico O'Reilly, Josko Gvardiol, Ruben Diaz, and at right back Abdulkadir Kusanov. Rodri and Reinders in the midfield with Phil Foden ahead of them, Jeremy Doku, who had his 2 assists in the derby, on the left, Bernardo Silva on the right, and Erling Haaland, who, if he scores tonight, will become the fastest to 50 goals in Champions League history. Michael Brown alongside me. Any surprise at all with that lineup?
You're always trying to second guess Pep Guardiola, but what it is now with this changed look, a new backroom staff, he's trying to find formulas, a consistent Manchester City. They started really well on the first day, then lacked in form, conceding many opportunities against them, not getting results. It was a shock. There's been a couple of injuries, and those full-back areas, those mostly players like Nico O'Reilly, Kusanov, not necessarily set out to be in those areas, have done well in the Manchester derby. Can they stake a claim to stay in longer? We will soon see. Nico O'Reilly has had more run in that area, but now when the Champions League comes in, the Arsenal game just around the corner, it's going to be bigger tests along the way. So Pep stuck with it, maybe the extra day of the rest in the middle of the week as well, playing on a very, very strange night on a Thursday in the Champions League. I believe this is the only time that will happen, but they've got to be on the front foot. This is Napoli side who are in form.
They are in form. They have 3 wins out of 3 in the Serie A so far this season, and they have some very familiar faces to the Premier League, and for one particularly to this stadium. Kevin De Bruyne returns for the first time since moving to the Italian champions. He's already scored twice in their opening 3 matches, and they line up with Milinkovic-Savic in goal, a back four of Leonardo Spinazzola, Alessandro Buongiorno, Samba Kema, and their captain Giovanni Di Lorenzo. Stanislav Lobotka in front of them in that holding role. A midfield 4 in front of him of Scott McTominay, Kevin De Bruyne, Frank Anguissa, and Matteo Politano, with Rasmus Højlund, who scored on his debut at the weekend, leading the line up front. It is a little bit of a new look Napoli side this season, still under Antonio Conte, but he's moved away from some of his traditional principles. No more back 3 for a start. How big a challenge do they pose this evening?
Yeah, a big challenge, because they're the ones in form. A wonderful record last season. Can they repeat it? We'll see, but they've found ways to win. Covered a few of their games so far. A formula, still with new players. Lukaku was the big blow right on the start of the new season, so they'll fancy their chances tonight.
Well, we are underway here at the Etihad. Manchester City in their traditional light blue shirts, white shorts and light blue socks, playing from our left to right. Napoli in their changed kit of navy shorts, navy shirts and navy socks. And it has been quite a good atmosphere in the build-up to this one. I've noticed quite a few Kevin De Bruyne flags. I'm not sure if they've come from Napoli fans or from Manchester City fans, but he's certainly had a warm welcome back to the Etihad. I've
got a shirt on. I've been passing them out, that's for certain, because we talk about legends, we talk about top players. A mistake there.
A mistake that doesn't come to anything. It is hammered clear by Rodri, and Haaland will look to try and put some pressure on the defence at the back, but it's headed comfortably back to Milinkovic-Savic in goal for them. He made his debut at the weekend against Fiorentina on loan from Torino, his 4th loan from Torino, but very experienced goalkeeper. Actually spent some time in Manchester on the red half. Never made an appearance though, as Napoli go direct looking for Højlund, but it's headed clear by Diaz. And now Gvardiol mops things up, puts his foot on the ball, looks for a teammate, gets it back, and it goes all the way back to Donnarumma, who has it at his feet. And it was a very interesting press conference from Donnarumma yesterday when he spoke ahead of this game about how he understands he needs to be better with his feet playing under Pep Guardiola. He will learn that, but when it comes to making saves, I mean, he's a man mountain.
Oh, yes, here he is now. It's rolling the ball out. There's a couple of short passes. He's just waiting for the press. Can he bounce it? Haaland's got a screen on. Can they go tight? He just wants to drop it in. 1-for-1. You can't do that with Erling Haaland. He decides to go short.
He does, and now on this right-hand side, Kashanov. Manchester City just trying to build a little bit of possession. One-touch football, sprayed lovely out to the left-hand side from Phil Foden, and there's space in front of Gvardiol to drive into, crossing the halfway line, looking for options, waving his arms around. He doesn't have anything ahead, so he's gone back to Diaz, but Manchester City now all in Napoli's half, just waiting for their moment. Defence happy to hold on to the ball, and now Rodri has it. He almost went for the long ball in behind for Kashanov, but back it comes to City. Doku, who was so lively against Manchester United at the weekend, now tries to play a little ball through to Haaland. It's cut out, but there is nobody up the pitch for Napoli, and again Manchester City will come, and this will be a very different test for Napoli. They won the championship on the final day, really dramatic end to the Serie A season last season, and it was Napoli who won their second title in 3 seasons, but Manchester City pose a very different challenge to the teams in Italy.
Yeah, they've been no rush, just like Manchester City. Good position, wasn't it? Josko Gvardiol in the centre of the pitch, that full-back coming to central midfield. He's the link.
And it's out on the left-hand side with O'Reilly, chops back onto his right foot, finds Doku, edge of the penalty area on the left-hand side. Doku just edging forward into the box, and he drops it back to the edge of the area where Diaz takes a speculative effort along the ground. And Pep Guardiola's having a little word with that. Is he telling him to go back?
Just step back, Ruben Diaz. You can't get involved with shots like that from 30 yards. Yeah. Stay where he is. Pep Guardiola in his suit tonight with a little jumper on, just sits back down.
He's looking very smart.
Yeah, he always does. You know, he always has something different.
And as much as there's an interesting battle on the pitch, it's also a little bit of an interesting battle between the two in the dugout. They know each other very well, Pep Guardiola and Antonio Conte. And actually, Antonio Conte is the only active manager in football right now who has played Pep Guardiola at least 6 times and has a better win rate than the Manchester City manager. So could be an interesting tactical battle from the two in the dugout.
Yeah, it could. Kashanov now just setting up the throw-in on this near side. Both managers at the front of the technical area. You talk about battles, you talk about experienced winners, demands. These two don't get any more, do they? What they expect. Great turn from Doku.
And Doku driving forward now, right through the heart of Napoli's defence. He tries to find Haaland, it's cut out, but the referee is going to give a free kick on the edge of the area. Doku just catching Bakema, the Napoli centre-half, as he tried to drive forward. It was a really good break from the Belgian.
Yeah, the pace was fantastic through the middle of the pitch. What was good, his awareness, he knew there was space, and then he drives right through. But his pass is poor. Then he makes a challenge. Is there much contact? Is it high? He's trying to get another little look here. Politano. Yeah, it was just literally a little tap on the inside of his calf. He didn't really have any intent. Referee decides it's a free kick, and you can't really argue with it.
Milinkovic-Savic takes it, plays it out short to Kevin De Bruyne, who's got Lobotka alongside him, and now Napoli come down the right-hand side with Di Lorenzo. He's looking for the run forward, but Gvardiol is there to knock it back to Donnarumma. Under pressure from Højlund, gets it out to Diaz, and Diaz now to Kashanov, who played in that right-back position at the weekend and was very impressive.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't under too much pressure. He just stayed in his line. He didn't have too much to think about early on in his tenure as a right-back. We've seen, obviously, Rico Lewis go and join the midfield and stay in there, and then his timing, he did ever so well for a long period of time. But Kashanov now, it looks like we need to defend first, is the message from Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, Spinazzola, the Napoli left-back, he will fly up and down that left-hand side all night long. He's got Scott McTominay, who sort of starts out in the left but drifts into a central area. Also will cause a few problems. I'm sure he's had such an incredible season last season after his move to Napoli from Manchester United, one that Antonio Conte said he didn't think would happen, but was very glad it did. I'm sure Scott McTominay was as well, because he was named the best midfielder in Serie A.
Yeah, and he went back to Manchester United to have another look to see if he can find another one with Højlund, and
it's worked out well so far.
Yeah, it has, and they're just waiting. The defensive line is trying to frustrate Manchester City. Block, delay. De Bruyne, as you said, just had that touch stepping forward onto Ruben Diaz.
And now Bernardo Silva twisting, turning, looking for options. He's gone back to Diaz. Diaz now with Foden, who's flicked it out to the right hand side. Little bit of a miscommunication between Foden and Silva there. Doesn't happen very often. Out for a Napoli throw-in, which goes back to Milinkovic-Savic. He puts his foot through it high into the night sky here at the Etihad, and it is Kashanov who gets there first ahead of McTominay. The ball just bobbling around a little bit, but now Gvardiol looks to try and calm things down. In the centre circle, Manchester City just moving the ball around, still waiting for our first attempt on goal inside this opening 8 minutes, but both teams just trying to settle into the game, and Manchester City now trying to put together a little bit of possession. Doku again on the ball, plays it back to Diaz. Diaz sweeps the ball over the halfway line to Kashanov on the right hand side. He's got Diaz back again, and now Rodri. And Napoli sitting in that rigid formation, asking Manchester City to find a way to break them down. They'll be quite happy to just let City have the ball as long as it's in front of them. And now a shot from the right hand side, and that's pulled off. The first save of the game from Milinkovic-Savic. It was a wicked effort from Reinders outside the penalty area. He put his right foot through it, and Milinkovic-Savic watched it all the way, had to flick it over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, just inside that left-hand side of the pitch. He comes inside right-footed, just outside the penalty area. He strikes really strong. It was quite central. Milinkovic-Savic just watched it, made sure he got two palms behind it, pushed it over. But there we go. Finally, we have a little bit of action.
Corner comes in from Foden, deep to Doku. He's all on his own. He just took a poor touch. It wouldn't sit for him. Couldn't get the shot away cleanly, and it's cleared. But that was a huge opportunity at the back post.
Big chance, big deep cross to the back post, and Doku's there, and it's one of those. I'm thinking, is he going to head it? Is he going to volley it? But it almost lands on his chest, so he's stuck to decide what to do. He takes his touch. It's a poor one. We have a little bit of concern here, an injury possibly, but it was a big chance for City.
Yeah, Rasmus Højlund is hobbling around, just feeling his, I think it's his left leg he's feeling at the moment, but he's on his feet and he's moving around, so no treatment required for Højlund. Manchester City back on the ball. First real opportunity has come the way of the home side with that Reinders effort, and then from the resulting corner, Doku with the opportunity at the back post, and it's Doku now who tries to spin away past Politano. No way past though. Manchester City keep a hold of the ball. It is going to be a free kick. I thought the referee was going to let it play on there because City were in possession, but he does stop the play. The German referee Felix Vahr, who refereed the Europa League final between Manchester United and Tottenham last season. So Rasmus Højlund will be acquainted with him in different colours nowadays. Højlund, as Donnarumma launches it long, looking for Haaland, but beaten to it. McTominay now heads it back to his captain Di Lorenzo, and Di Lorenzo is going to be forced back to the goalkeeper. Manchester City pressing high. Foden trying to get on the end of the pass out. That was very close, but Napoli and Buongiorno able to just get it away, and now Napoli come forward. Did you think he was getting on the end of that one there?
When the goalkeeper passes it right across the face, Foden almost got it. I've got to say, it's perfect.
Great ball out to the left for Spinazzola. Napoli coming forward, cuts inside really well into the penalty area. He's turned again, and now it's left-footed across, and this time Kassanov gets the block in, but brilliant play from the left back. He's still got it, edge of the area, now goes left foot shot deep, looking for Anguissa, gets his head on it, knocks it back towards the penalty spot, but Rodri is there to take it off McTominay's toes, and now Manchester City can launch an attack through Doku over the halfway line. He's looking for options on the right hand side. He's going to check back. and play the ball to Reinders, who now sweeps it over to this right-hand side to Kishanov, but Kishanov found himself in a little bit of bother there up against Spinazzola.
Yeah, he got twisted up, but he recovered well.
Looking for Haaland, and there's a foot goes in there from Bukema, but Manchester City keep hold of it. Now Haaland to Bernardo Silva, right side of the penalty area to Foden, to Kishanov, Foden. Manchester City playing with it, just short passes just outside the penalty area, trying to create that space to hurt Napoli, but every Napoli player is back there between the ball and the goal. So now Manchester City try from the left. Doku again, he's got 2 Napoli players to beat. He's just dragging the ball with his right foot, decides to go back. So now Gvardiol moves to the right hand side, and Manchester City are going to have to be patient tonight because Antonio Conte sets his team up very well. Hard to break down, organised, and Manchester City will have to find a way to unlock it.
Just watch the manager now. He's demanding all the time, he's non-stop, he's just pushing them into positions.
Waiting for the mistake, which has happened. Anguissa picking up the loose pass, and now Napoli in possession, but in their defensive third. Out to Di Lorenzo on the right hand side. He's got Politano ahead of him, and that little ball inside to Højlund, but Di Lorenzo's looking for a free kick, which he's not going to get. Saw you look at that one, Michael.
Yeah, I thought Doku had caught him. He was disappointed, but he's got to react. It's gone. Here he is, he's under pressure.
Doku now to Reinders with the ball across, headed clear, but only as far as Diaz, who's got Gvardiol for support. 13 minutes gone here at the Etihad in this Champions League tie between Manchester City and Napoli. We still await the opening goal. Manchester City, though, with the first attempts on target and on goal. It came from Reinders, and it was a save tipped over the bar by Milinkovic-Savic. It's as close as we've come. Napoli setting up in a defensive style at the moment.
McTominay just dropped in really deep, just as a little screen. He's trying to go inside, but he knows he's got to shuffle across. Kushinov's not the out ball because he won't go too far. They're making sure the back line can see why. He's got to be certain. They don't want to get counter-attacked.
Doku, left edge of the penalty area, drags it round to the byline, tries to get the cross in, does, but it hits the top of the net, and it will be another corner to Manchester City. And there has been a goal in the 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Champions League. It's come at Frankfurt. It's gone the way of Galatasaray. So Frankfurt 0, Galatasaray 1. All the rest of the 8 o'clock kickoffs goalless. If you want to listen to Newcastle Barcelona, you can do over on Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, but here on 5 Live Sports Extra, it is Manchester City against Napoli, and it's Foden with the corner in towards the penalty spot. Gvardiol is there, and Haaland. They both tried to attack it. There was a head that got on the end of it, but it looped over Milinkovic-Savic's bar and harmlessly out for a goal kick.
He went to attack it, didn't he? Quick Haaland. And Giorno does very well, gets close to him. Conte now in vision to everybody on all our monitors. What does he think? Where next? These managers have to adapt and change in play. City a really high line, trying to squeeze the pitch as Napoli try to play out, trying to find little combinations. They haven't really got any possession at this moment. This is the first little bit.
And it's a lovely little touch inside to McTominay, who's now able for the first time to open his legs and drive towards City's. Forced wide to spin it solo, though, inside Manchester City's half, and he's got Lobotka, the little linchpin in Napoli's midfield.
He just ticks over, doesn't he? Waits, draws, he can play diagonally. Little frame, that little holding midfield player does so much and not necessarily always appreciated.
Politano looking to get the cross in. It's deflected. It's gone out for a corner. Napoli's first set piece of the evening. They will try and hurt Manchester City from the corner, but yeah, Lobotka, an interesting midfield setup that Napoli have this season. There was sort of questions as to where Kevin De Bruyne would fit in when he arrived. Would one of the others have to drop out? A McTominay and Anguissa or a Politano who's been able to fit them all in. And
well, he moved McTominay out to that left-hand side, which created the space, which is very brave when you've got the player of the year to move him from somewhere he's done so well. Referee just stopping a little bit of play. Donnarumma under a little bit of contact, pushing him around. Højlund on his toes.
Big smile from Højlund as the referee gives him a little ticking off. They're still at it though, but in comes the corner. It's towards Donnarumma's goal, and he's spilled the touch. There is an offside flag up though, and it was a wicked delivery. Swirling towards Donnarumma's goal. There was a touch on it. I think it might have been Anguissa with the touch. Donnarumma spilled it, but the flag up. And that's a little scare perhaps for Manchester City.
Yeah, you just look, he's the jump onto that back post. Kema just gets his head on it, down into the ground in front of the goalkeeper. Reaction save as he pushes away. Højlund, great spot from the official, by the way, in an offside position, very quick with the flag, so even the rebound had went in. Comfortable save, not an outstanding one, quite routine, but he's done his job.
Yeah, Kema it was with the header, who scored in his debut at the weekend against Fiorentina, signed from Bologna in the summer. So Napoli,
yeah, big fee as well, 31 million euros, I believe. So that tells you the intent of what they expect of him. He took some time to drop in. And they're going tight, an aggressive press. Napoli now trying to push City into the long ball, but I think that's dangerous at times because Haaland will go 1 for 1.
And now Foden's looking for Haaland. The challenge comes in from Di Lorenzo. He's taken out Haaland on the edge of the penalty area, outside the box. Haaland is furious. The referee has not given anything. Di Lorenzo's hurt himself, and now the referee is wandering over. Di Lorenzo's still on the ground. Haaland is asking for a red card.
He's asking, his hands went up, which we don't like to see. But when a player lies down when he's challenged, he thinks he's guilty. I said you don't leave him 1v1, it creates problems. Foden just pushes it into a space. Di Lorenzo gets it all wrong. Does he touch him? Does he get any ball? We get a nice little look. My initial thought, he doesn't. The studs just don't touch it. The contact comes around. Big decision, big moment of the game. Just onto Erling Haaland's right foot as he misses it. That right foot comes round. Haaland's waving for cards. The referee now, the weight. Every City player was asking and demanding, and when they get another look, he thinks he's touched it. But we couldn't see that, could we?
We couldn't see it. Christian Dingert, another German official, is the video assistant referee this evening. It won't be a penalty, it's outside the area. Will it be a red card? That is the question. We are getting the potential red card check on the big screens here at the Etihad. I don't think there is any doubt that this is a red.
See Di Lorenzo, right? He stays down and he's holding his leg. He's thinking, I've not really got much of it. Here he is to the monitor. That was the biggest tell of an experienced player thinking, oh, I'm in trouble. Then he thinks he's got away with it. It's so close. It's a difficult one for the official because it's round the other side, off to the monitor, what we've seen. Here you go, a nice still for you.
Yeah, it's never fair, I think, when they start in a still, but he will see the full movement. And Felix Weyer, the German official, he's already shown 2 red cards in the 3 games he's officiated this season. And will he show another one here? There is the signal. He goes to his back pocket. The red card comes out. Napoli are down to 10. Their captain, Giovanni Di Lorenzo, is sent off. We are 20 minutes into this Champions League tie, and Napoli will have to play the rest of the game without their captain and down to 10. This is a huge moment.
I think what the turning point was is it looked like Erling Haaland wasn't going to get the ball, but he's so quick. He pushes it into the space. Di Lorenzo couldn't recover. He decides to make the challenge because he thinks he'll get it. And when we get another look, as a player, when you've been in that position, you think you've got it. Your intention is not to foul. He's very experienced, understands it. But we're talking the minimal of touches. Like on the edge of his studs could have been the difference. And he'll say he might have just touched it. But it's agonisingly close. The ball doesn't move off line, but that'll be the message from him. Haaland as well, steps across it, contact in between. From there, a disappointed Di Lorenzo leaves the pitch, and now an opportunity for Manchester City.
And you said in the build-up to that, it's a dangerous play to try and allow Manchester City to go long to Haaland. They did that, the ball was won. It fell though to Foden. It's the second ball, the loose ball. Foden picks up, plays that perfect pass into the path of Haaland, who shows that great strength and pace to get round Di Lorenzo. He tried all he could to get a foot on the ball, but from the pictures it didn't look like he touched it at all, and now Manchester City have a huge opportunity from a free kick just on the edge of the penalty area, just to the left of the D, and they're also playing against a team who are a man down. So Manchester City with the opportunity now to make it even worse for the visitors. Foden and Reinders, the two standing over the free kick. Will it be the left foot of Foden, the right foot of Reinders? And it looks like it will be Reinders. It's taken a deflection. It's going to go out for a corner kick for Manchester City. So it doesn't get worse for Napoli yet, but the night has become a little bit longer.
Yeah, we've seen Ruben Diaz, Nico O'Reilly just trying to block the line of the goalkeeper. A good wall, one behind it, laying down. Activity on the Napoli bench. He's going to make a change. He probably has to with the area of the pitch, but he's another opportunity for City.
Corner comes into the hands of Milinkovic-Savic, and now the goalkeeper will try and take a little bit of time, calm it down, because Napoli have been rocked here at the Etihad by that red card for their captain.
There's no rush was the message, but he actually decides to go short. Full credit to them. They want to play and keep the ball.
Spinazzola going long for Højlund, who's wrestling with Diaz, and the loose ball latched onto by Silva, who just knocks it back into the path of Guardiola. And now Diaz out to O'Reilly into Napoli's half, as Napoli do prepare to make a change. But at the moment it is City looking to heap more misery. Yeah,
Politano's just dropped down into a full-back area. Scott McTominay will have to narrow off now. Be a rigid four just in front, and then wherever they can get Højlund, but we'll see what that substitute entails. What's next? Very experienced manager, we know, but he will not fancy this chance now with the situation they're in.
And Doku going to the byline, cutting it back, but it is Politano who's there to clear it. It's still with City though, still on the edge of the area. And Doku just stops it going out right on the byline, goes back to O'Reilly. Now the cross comes in, there's Haaland with a header, and it's just over the top of the crossbar. He's got his hands on his head, he knows that that was a chance. Good ball in from the left hand side, and Haaland got contact, just not quite able to keep it under the crossbar.
Yeah, good delivery. It's so hard for a defender as he runs right across, and the ball's good. Giono just trying to get his arm, trying to stop it. He knows there's a good chance there for Haaland, but now a chance to rethink, to wait. Milinkovic-Savic just now decides to go long, and we're going to see some activity very, very shortly.
Well, it is Matthias Oliveira who is ready and waiting to come on for Napoli. And now Foden plays it in behind, looking for the run of Haaland. There's a little bit too much on that ball. Right idea from Foden. It's gone all the way through, though, to Milinkovic-Savic. But there was space there to play in behind Napoli, and Foden tried to find the run of Haaland. But now Napoli come forward. Lobotka spreads the ball from right to left to Spinazzola. Back to De Bruyne. Orange flash of his boots, and he's sprayed a beautiful cross-field ball right into the path of Politano, who just can't control it, and it goes out. But that is a Kevin De Bruyne pass.
Who does he sacrifice there? We're going to have a little look at it, what he decides to do. And this is a really, really strange decision. This is a brave manager to make this. And we know Oliveira can go either left back or he might switch across. But what a shame in a night that is actually sacrificed for a red card.
It is Kevin De Bruyne, whose name is being chanted around the Etihad. All four stands are on their feet and clapping. The man that they used to idolise here at the Etihad, he has been the man sacrificed for Matthias Oliveira after the red card to Di Lorenzo. 25 minutes was all De Bruyne got here at the Etihad, which is, like you say, a real shame. He started so well for Napoli, 2 goals already in his 3 Serie A games. Slotted in brilliantly into that midfield, and we got to see that trademark 60-yard pass from just before he went off the field.
That's a manager who takes emotions out, because he knows he can deliver anything sensational, but he also thinks it's such a long time. If it was in 65 minutes, he might have had a different opinion of it, but it's a long. These guys are going to have the fittest, most dynamic players to try and get anything from this game.
Manchester City probing again. Diaz dinks it in, looking for the run of Reinders, and it was headed clear, but it will be a free kick for Napoli. Reinders just barging in to the defender as he tried to win that header. Little hands in the back.
Yeah, Nico O'Reilly as well, just an arm round, pulling the defender to the floor. What a shame to the game. He's graced so many lovely nights in Champions League and in English football. Europeans watching him have come back excited to see Kevin De Bruyne. He's had a couple of touches, been waiting for any chance, and now he's off the pitch. What a sad moment. So disappointed. His
80th Champions League appearance as well tonight for Kevin De Bruyne. 25 minutes was all he got. He has had many, many memories in this competition, though, particularly 2023, when he lifted the trophy with Manchester City, and now they start the campaign to try and do that once again. Bernardo Silva on the ball, just looking for an option, which he's got from Diaz. Diaz now drops it back to Gvardiol, and now back to Diaz. Still goalless here, still goalless at St James's Park as well, between Newcastle and Barcelona. Commentary of that one available on 5 Live Sport with John Murray and Dion Dublin. And on BBC Sounds, there's also commentary over on Sports Extra 2 on BBC Sounds of the Super League match between Hull KR and Warrington Wolves this evening, as Doku tries to create something. Manchester City just camped on the edge of that Napoli box. I feel I've not looked to my left for a long time. It has been all City up on this right hand side, and they've won a throw-in just level with the edge of the penalty area on the right hand side.
You'll be able to do that in the second half, I'm sure.
I'll even myself out.
Your neck won't be too aching tomorrow for looking at one side, but this is just going to be attack v defence, wait, be disciplined, so tough in the middle. I've played in those areas when you're up against it, and just have to be organised as you can and try to delay and wait.
Foden to Kasanov, puts the ball across. It's cleared out by Bukema for a corner for Manchester City. And once again, Phil Foden, with that bandage on his right hand, wanders over, places the ball on the quadrant. Another opportunity for City to get the ball into the area. Bernardo Silva just moving Haaland towards the rear. Where the ball goes, it was heading for the head of Haaland, but Milinkovic-Savic got a big fist in there to punch it clear. But again, it falls at the feet of a light blue Manchester City, now coming forward on the right hand side with Foden. Skips inside, he's got Rodri, Reinders, lovely pass out to the right to Kasanov. Now the cross comes in, it's deflected only as far as Diaz, who is about the deepest player, and he's about 25 yards from goal. Foden with the shot along the ground. It's an easy one for Milinkovic-Savic to just flop down onto his left hand side and smother. But again, Manchester City beginning to find those little pockets.
Yeah, Rodri, good ball. Phil Foden just pulling out into that number 10 position. He's so good to be able to drag it across into the space. He gets his shot away. Goalkeeper who's done ever so well so far in this first half. He's been commanding. That's the first time down to the ground, comfortable. He's tried to play out wherever possible. He's made the correct decisions, and there's a nice little taster of what Phil Foden can do in that area.
Yeah, he had a very good debut at the weekend by all accounts. Milinkovic-Savic, solid. Ball swept over to the right hand side where Bernardo Silva takes a slightly heavy touch but recovers, and Diaz is inside for support. Now Rodri drags the ball back to O'Reilly, knocks it into the path of Reinders, who turns edge of the area. Thought about taking the shot, but decides to drop it to Doku, who's got Rodri alongside him, and that ball right across the face of the penalty area to Bernardo Silva. And Foden trying to chop it back onto his right foot, just loses it momentarily. And Rasmus Højlund, the only Napoli player up there, all he can do is win the header, but there's nobody around him to offer any support. So now it comes back again. This time Doku, left side of the penalty area. Reinders, Rodri, Manchester City probing, looking for the space that will have been created by the red card to Napoli captain Di Lorenzo. So Napoli down to 10, just over the half-hour mark, as a shot comes in from distance from Guardiola, but blocked on the edge of the area. And now Politano tries to move it forward, but again it's gone to a City foot, but this time out of play. Napoli win possession back, and it's going to be a real test of endurance for Napoli, given what the way the game has gone since that red card. It's been all Manchester City.
Great support from those supporters behind the goal, trying to get behind this Napoli side, but great build-up from Manchester City. Josko Gvardiol this time, range 25 yards, decides to have a strike. We know he can do it left foot and right foot, he can score a goal.
Going very nearly, Doku getting onto a loose pass there, back from Napoli towards the goalkeeper. But Napoli have been able to get the ball beyond Manchester City's defence. With Politano, the sliding challenge comes in for O'Reilly, who's writhing around on the ground.
He's caught him. You can tell he's caught him. He apologised in this way. We're having a little look. Nico O'Reilly is just saying he's underneath him, but let's get another look. Does he leave it on him? Oh, he does, you know, a little bit. He's trying to say he hasn't. But for me, it's a little bit of a straight leg. It wasn't the cleanest of strides. They might see it different. Nico O'Reilly's took the apology, hasn't he?
He has. He's slid in, and Politano, as he is just catching his feet to run past him, lands on his leg just around the knee area. And there are many pundits, I don't know if you're one of them, Michael, as the corner comes in straight into the hands of Donnarumma, there are many pundits who say that you always know where your feet are going. Now, I'm not suggesting anything by that.
There's many ex-players who didn't know where their feet were going. That was my excuse for a few of the challenges anyway.
But
so
do you think he left one on there?
He possibly could have got out the way of it. That's what I would say. I said it wasn't ideal.
Well, he is up. He's still feeling that knee a little bit gingerly, O'Reilly, but he is up, back underway, on the ball now. The 20-year-old is making his first Champions League start tonight, and the ball into Haaland, and under pressure he was from Buongiorno, but that was a dangerous little ball into the feet of Haaland.
Buongiorno did well, you know, got his foot, wrapped it round, because he realised once Haaland backs in, it's hard to take it. He just takes it into the forward areas, and City just having a little look. This is where the management team, Pep Guardiola, really good at finding solutions and overloads and putting the extra pressure on.
Gvardiol with the cross, left-footed, and it's into the hands of Milinkovic-Savic, but Buongiorno got in the way a little bit, and it's loose, but it is with Napoli feet just driving out of their own penalty area. And Guisa now on this right-hand side. He's able to put a foot on the ball and try and get something going again for Napoli, who've struggled since the red card, since going down to 10. Milinkovic-Savic goes long, over the head of McTominay and straight onto the head of Gvardiol. And now Manchester City, they just have possession back again through Foden to Silva. Silva twisting, turning, looking for options. He's got it from Reinders just outside the D and the edge of the penalty area. He goes to Kasanov and to Diaz. Reinders again, Kasanov and Diaz. And Manchester City beginning to get the crowd behind them. Shouts of "Come on City." They've enjoyed the bulk of possession, but the ball not in a threatening position. But that's a good cross, looking for Haaland, sliding in at the back post. But it would have been an incredibly special finish if he'd been able to get on the end of that one.
Did you bet against him? I didn't. Once I've seen him launch for it, I'm thinking those legs are so long. Seen some great goals. Ruben Diaz almost Kevin De Bruyne-like, should I say, towards that back post, as Haaland's big left foot dives forward towards that line to try and get some contact. We've seen him get it before and squeeze it in certain post, but too far on this occasion.
Doku battling for the ball, comes off a Napoli foot. I think it was that of Politano. It's out for a Manchester City throw-in, level with the left side of the penalty area, which O'Reilly will take. And now with Doku. Back Gvardiol, Kasanov, Silva. How do Manchester City find a way through what is now really just become a wall of Napoli players? Silva, cross, headed clear to the edge of the area, shot comes in, it's saved, Savic, but to the feet of Doku, but the flag has gone up. But that was a wicked strike from just outside the area. Rodri testing the palms of Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah, great strikes, edge of the area, just waiting for chances as midfielders, as defenders stepping forward. And whether the offside really comes into play, it's because it comes back into the path as Rodri strikes into the floor. Milinkovic-Savic looks a real present, palms it away, and that flag goes up. Great to see him back, getting minutes now. Rodri, that Ballon d'Or winner, we missed so much of him with that terrible injury. It took a while to bring him back. City certainly missed him. It wasn't just him, there was others. Phil Foden, for obvious reasons as well, and just couldn't get to where he was, the highs.
And he's battling in there with Anguissa, but it's Anguissa who's come out on top, looking for the run of Højlund. Just a little bit too much on the ball, allowed Kasanov to get in and clear the ball for a Napoli throw-in. It was actually McTominay that was racing through onto that ball, getting my ex-Man United players mixed up. Could
you tell? There was the boos from all the supporters as McTominay just tries to pick the ball up for a throw-in. Anguissa does well in the middle, and Kasanov just realises McTominay's quick, he's powerful, he's strong. As he strides into the area, he takes no chances, he clears it away. Goalkeeper Donnarumma very vocal, telling him well done.
The throw-in comes into the penalty area, but City able to get it clear. Scott McTominay actually has 3 victories here at the Etihad from his time at Manchester United. It's going to be a really tough test to add to those 3 tonight, with Napoli down to 10. But still, they are very much in the game because we are still goalless. Despite Manchester City having the bulk of possession and having a couple of shots on goal, nothing has really worried Milinkovic-Savic in the Napoli goal. Offside flag goes up against Højlund, but Manchester City will play on as Bernardo Silva just crosses the halfway line, finds Foden. Antonio Conte just standing down inside of his technical area, arms outstretched, barking instructions, always so involved from the touchline. Antonio Conte, very passionate manager. Riley out to Doku, slows the play down. He's got Anguissa ahead of him, but O'Reilly, he drops it back to who crosses it in, and there's a little bit of a mix-up in the Napoli defence, and Reinders almost got in. It had to be cleared out by a Napoli boot for a corner as Reinders just tried to take it down and take it round, and it was Bekema who got a foot in to just knock it out for a Manchester City corner. Chance again for City as the corner comes in from the left-hand side. Milinkovic-Savic gets a weak punch on it. It fell to Rodri, couldn't direct it goalwards. Back now with Kasanov. Foden looking for it on that left-hand side, but Reinders has it and cuts out onto his right foot, and now onto this right-hand side where Silva floats it in towards the back post. Header comes in. Milinkovic-Savic again diving to his right to knock it out for another corner, and it is again head in hands moment for Manchester City, and this time it's Nico O'Reilly who got a really good header onto the end of that lovely floated ball from Bernardo Silva. Rose high, just couldn't quite direct it as the corner comes in. Header again, Milinkovic-Savic down to his right, and now the cross comes back in towards the back post. Rodri is there, it's fallen to the far side. Bernardo Silva, and now there's claims for a penalty, and the shot comes in and absolutely takes out Spinazzola from close range. It's Politano who's down right on the edge of the area. The shot cannoned off his head from really close range from Kasanov, but that was a real moment of panic for Napoli defensively as the ball came in from the corner. Milinkovic-Savic with a great save, it came back in again, and eventually when it fell to Kasanov, the strike was vicious. Politano's head stopped it getting towards the goal.
Yeah, he's jumped up, Politano, with a smile on his face. I think the question whether he has been caught. He stayed down, he delayed, he waited, using that head injury. But are we going to see a better performance? Milenkovic-Savic, a double save in quick succession. Josko Vardiol headed down into the ground, top save to the right. Also that Nico O'Reilly right in that corner, also with that header. City creating, they're really pushing now.
Shot comes in towards the far post from Gvardiol, and Milenkovic-Savic was scrambling a little. So glad to see it go just wide of his far post as Gvardiol shouts a little cry of anguish as the ball skims past the left-hand post. That was a really good effort from Gvardiol, but still we await the opening goal. 3 minutes of the 45 left to play, and it is still goalless, but it is Manchester City asking all the questions against the 10 men of Napoli. As the ball is long, looking for Højlund, it will go straight through to Donnarumma. Frankfurt have equalised against Galatasaray in the 8 o'clock kickoff. They're still goalless in the other 3 8 o'clock kickoffs. Earlier on, Club Brugge were 4-1 winners against Monaco, and it finished 2 apiece between Copenhagen and Leverkusen. All the highlights of the Champions League available tonight on BBC One, as Reinders tries to wriggle clear on the edge of the area. Doku prods it in, but just can't quite find the run of his Dutch teammate, who gives a wry smile as the ball trickles out for a goal kick.
Domination from City right from the start. Complete possession, shots, efforts at goal. Could have been a little bit more clinical early on in the first half, but Napoli was stubborn. They were organised, they've waited and tried to delay City, but since that red card on the 21st minute, they've had to adapt, because City are going all the way around, different sides, pushing it, 1v1s, putting the ball in the box, not afraid to go more direct. We've seen this might be a little bit of a newer Manchester City. You can feel in the wider positions, they just want to stay high and wide. Doku coming inside, but they've got to make the pitch and stretch it as big as possible, and because of the amount of time left, it's going to be so difficult for Napoli to sustain it.
Crossfield ball from Rodri to Casanov, ball in from Foden, and it was Reinders who got on the end of it. It was a delicious ball from Foden, right into the path of Reinders. He tried to flick the header beyond Milenkovic-Savic, just got too much on it, and over the top of the bar it went. You can see what he was trying to do, but it doesn't test the goalkeeper, and again that was an opening, and Pep Guardiola puffs out his cheeks and turns away. He thought there was an opening there, but still he waits for the domination to result in an opening goal in this game.
Yeah, when you look at it as well, I think he gets too much on the connection. Just a little touch might have set the goalkeeper the wrong. That's a good battle in the middle. The referee has to give a foul. He decided against it.
Reinders comes clear with it. 4 minutes added to the end of this first half. So we have just reached the 45. 4 to play as Napoli have a rare moment of possession. Politano going down the right hand side. He's got very little support. Anguissa offers some inside, and now Napoli players are able to catch up with play to Oliveira, the substitute who came on when Di Lorenzo was sent off, came on for Kevin De Bruyne. It was the former Manchester City man sacrificed as the ball spread over to that right hand side. Politano now wearing the captain's armband, drops it inside, and here's McTominay into the area, back to Politano, and the cross, got it all wrong. I thought the cross was going to come in. He was between a cross and a shot. There was Lobotka, and nothing really happened, and Manchester City able to get it clear, the loose ball. And Napoli, if they're going to get anything from this game, they need to find a way to be more clinical, to make those passes in Manchester City's half count, because they've very rarely been up there. I'll
tell you what they need. They just need to see out these last 3 or 4 minutes, get the manager to set them up, get a breather. Concentration levels have got to be so high, so difficult Everyone's just got to slot in, you've got to pull and narrow the gaps, shuffle across one little area where somebody doesn't do their job. City will find and exploit it.
Rodri, pass along the ground. Diaz, right in front of the goal. Thought about the shot, moved out to the right-hand side though for Silva. Now drives into the penalty area, chops onto his right foot, back onto his left. Now lays it down beautifully for Reinders. And I thought that was going in past Milinkovic-Savic. How did he end up getting his foot on that? Well, there are celebrations from Politano, so my view was blocked a little, but I assume he got a foot on it, took the pace off the ball, and Milinkovic-Savic was able to just pick it up. Reinders, it was brilliant. Seeing a replay now, brilliant from Politano. The Reinders effort was going to nestle in the bottom corner. Politano put out a foot, stopped the ball, almost dead, and Milinkovic-Savic just picked it up.
But by doing that, he almost put it in the goal. It was actually behind Milinkovic-Savic, and I thought that's an own goal. Bernardo Silva does so well, chopping, checking, and then the ball heading towards that corner. But they keep fighting, they're giving everything for the manager and these supporters who've travelled a long way. There's a foul.
It is a foul on Doku. And Manchester City win a free kick just on the left side of the penalty area. Politano's arguing his case though.
Well, because they've just let a different one off that they didn't have. There's not much contact at all. He steps into it. There's 3 or 4 suits come forward from that Napoli bench, but just getting another look. It's behind Milinkovic-Savic. If it had dived a little bit more spectacularly, it would have looked like one of those David Seaman saves where it's behind him, but he was quite safe. He could have made it better for the cameras, but he's going so well he didn't need to.
Politano celebrating like he'd scored a goal, blocking that shot, but very nearly putting it into the back of his own net. Milinkovic-Savic, I think, should have been the one celebrating as the free kick comes in short. It's gone wide of the post, and I think it was Rodri who got the final touch on that one. And it will be a Napoli goal kick. But yeah, Milinkovic-Savic certainly saving the blushes of Politano as the Napoli fans behind his goal continue to support their team. Their arms are raised out.
That's interesting, that Pep's just saying, come on everybody, let's get going, let's get behind. Did you see that? He's just said it's a little bit...
It does feel a little flat.
A touch quiet, because it's been so dominated by City that they've just rolled the ball around, control it. They'll be thinking, how's you not score? The manager with all the possession, all the chances. Some great entertainment, some great movement. But a Napoli side who've been extremely strong, have been extremely organised and demanding from each other. But it's been a good first half.
It has been a good first half. We haven't had any goals, but certainly Manchester City have absolutely dominated. They've had the best opportunities. Milinkovic-Savic has been forced into a number of saves, including one from his own player. But he has been impenetrable in this first half, Milinkovic-Savic, in just his second appearance for Napoli. But the game really turned in the 20th minute when Di Lorenzo took down Haaland, denying the obvious goal-scoring opportunity. And after a quick look at the monitor, referee Felix Weyer brandished the red card, and the Napoli captain's night was over. Kevin De Bruyne, the unfortunate man that was taken off for the substitution, for the reshuffle by Antonio Conte, but Napoli have been organised, they have been stubborn, and they have certainly showed all of the attributes you would expect from an Antonio Conte side.
Oh, you're just seeing the demands from the manager. He's not stopped. I think he's ran and covered so much ground just across that technical area, organising, moving people around, looking and seeing where spaces are, shouting on to make sure they close them up. It was a big decision for him to take Kevin De Bruyne off, because he knows he could have that special touch, something to give him that winner. But the long period, it probably was a correct decision, because they're going to need everybody's legs, and De Bruyne is not necessarily the one for legs. He's the one with that wonderful right foot who can do things nobody else can. They've been stubborn, they've been organised, as we've said. Milinkovic-Savic looks like he's having the game of his life, looks so comfortable. He's took the pressure off with some certain crosses that have come across, good save down to the right hand side. But City have looked good, they've looked like they're in their stride, they look like they could create, dominating, moving the ball around. But you've got to find an answer, you've got to find a breakthrough, and now in half time that's what Pep will be doing.
It will indeed, because at the break here at the Etihad, it is Manchester City 0, Napoli 0, and we will now rejoin 5 Live for half-time.
Ruthless in this match to get the result they needed to go into the main stage of the Champions League for the very first time alongside Arsenal and Chelsea. That draw takes place tomorrow. It's a 3-1 aggregate win. Tonight, though, it's finished 3-0 to an impressive Manchester United.
Let's go into Super League. Both Hull clubs in action tonight. It could be a big evening for both in slightly different ways. Sharon Shorter watching KR.
Yeah, and it's taken time, but Hull KR have finally got their noses in front in this one. They've got a 10-point lead at the break, 16 points to 6. And it was Warrington who started this one the stronger with a try from Josh Thewlis and then an effort from Kai Taylor-Ray ruled out for obstruction. Eventually, momentum turned towards Hull Kingston Rovers to the relief of the fans when Tyrone May scored. You could almost hear that pressure cooker just being released a little bit. Noah Booth has followed up with a double, both with lovely moves across out wide for him to score. Reece Martin has converted 2 of the 3. So Rovers at the moment still on track for that league leaders shield. They'll lead at half time. Hull KR 16, Warrington 6.
Meanwhile, the other side of Hull are not in their playoff chances much good at the moment. They're at half time as well, and they are trailing Catalan by 14 points to 12. So Isaac Hayden is with us. Dion Dublin is at St James's Park alongside John Murray. And you'd agree with Dion, would you, Isaac, that in a game of few chances, Newcastle had the better ones?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think Barcelona grew into the game sort of 10-15 minutes towards the end of the first half, sustained pressure really well, and obviously we knew they were going to probably have more possession than Newcastle, but I think in transition, like I said before, the game was key, and I thought Elanga, especially in the first 20-25 minutes, was electric and caused all sorts of problems, and on another day Barnes could have finished that and it could have been a different game.
I was going to say to you, would that be, it's a bit simplistic I suppose, but would that be the half-time message, get the ball to Elanga more?
Yeah, I mean, I think second half the substitutions will play a big part in the game. I think with Woldemade possibly coming on, I think Murphy as well, who's again started the season almost as he finished last season, in very good form. I think that could make the difference today.
It was a great move, wasn't it, Dion, for that best chance which Elanga set up for Harvey Barnes. Anthony Gordon tried to hold his run, was still offside, and yet Elanga running from deep got onto Trippier's ball.
Yeah, and I think that's what they'll look to. I mean, I just feel that Anthony Lang with the ball at his feet, he's not trying to do anything special. He just wants to get the ball into a dangerous area, and then he'll deliver it to whoever's there. He'll expect people to be there. At the moment, Barnes has been there and Gordon's been there. Barnes should have scored. Yes, it was a good save by the foot of the keeper, but they should be one up. And I said it before the game, you cannot keep missing these chances against a football team like Barcelona. You can't do it. You have to put the ball in the back of the net.
Is it too simplistic again to say that an out-and-out striker would have finished it?
No, it's not. It's fact. It's fact. And I do believe if they had a centre-forward playing tonight, he would have scored one of those goals. What happens, Chappers, is the chance comes around and the mindset's very different if you're a centre-forward. You've done it thousands and thousands of times. You know what kind of finish you have to use, and you use it. A lot of the time, if you're not that kind of player, you're choosing the finish as the ball's coming towards you. So you're thinking about your finish when you shouldn't be thinking about your finish.
What would you have done? Gone back across?
I'd have been running back on my knees. I'd have scored.
But your finish would have gone back across the keeper, presumably.
Yeah, what I would have done. What happens, Chappers, sometimes in those situations is you can see the ball coming, and then at the last minute you take your eye off the ball and you look to see where the ball's going to go, like a golf shot, and therefore you don't connect with it how you should. You don't even look at the goal. You know where the goal is. You use the white lines on the pitch to tell you where the goal is. It's not going to move. Get good connection and then celebrate when you hear the ball ripping.
I think because of the surfaces, Dion, I'm not sure knee slides were a thing when you were scoring goals. Isaac,
I wouldn't have been able to get up. I wouldn't have been able to get up off the floor after a knee slide.
just stay on your feet, put your arms in the air and celebrate. That's what you used to do back in the day. Should he have scored, Isaac?
Yeah, it's one of those ones where he's said, like Dion said, it's kind of coming to him quite quickly. He's taken his after ball ever so slightly, and then, as said, he probably should be going back across the goalkeeper. But I think Gordon's chance the very first chance early on, I think he's gone with his wrong foot there. I think if he goes with his left as it's coming across and just gets it on target and uses the pace of the ball, I think that was probably, arguably even a better chance, really.
Isaac Dion for the time being, thank you very much. Second half on the way then from St James's Park, where it is goalless between Manchester City and 10-man Napoli as well. In the other two games, Eintracht Frankfurt 3-1 up on Galatasaray, Sporting a 1-0 up on Kairat. In the early games, FC Copenhagen 2, Bayer Leverkusen 2 was how it finished in Denmark. Club Brugge beat Monaco by 4-1. Just shy of 9 o'clock, Richard Foster has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. Good evening. President Trump and Sir Keir Starmer have held a joint news conference after signing a technology deal worth around £150 billion. They held talks this afternoon and after a meeting of business leaders at Chequers. The Prime Minister says the two leaders have renewed the country's special relationship for a new era.
This tech partnership has the power to change lives. It's our chance to ensure that technologies like AI, quantum and others amplify human potential, solve problems, cure diseases, make us richer and freer.
President Trump told reporters that the US is trying to get the Bagram airbase back from the Taliban government in Afghanistan. And he was also asked about how he feels about Ukraine and President Putin.
Well, he has let me down. I mean, he's killing many people and he's losing more people than he's killing. Yeah. I mean, frankly, the Russian soldiers are being killed at a higher rate than the Ukrainian soldiers. I am very disappointed in the fact that one's not settled.
The president also suggested that Sir Keir Starmer could use the military to stop illegal migration to the UK and says that they disagree about the idea of a Palestinian state. Other stories this evening, and the High Court has rejected a fresh legal challenge to the government's one-in, one-out migrant returns deal with France. Lawyers for an Eritrean man had argued that France wouldn't look after him properly, but the court disagreed. The Governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, says interest rate cuts are still on the cards, but says it's sensible to leave them at 4% this month. The bank's cut rates 5 times since August last year, but inflation has been increasing since April. The two MPs who are planning a new left-wing party seem to have fallen out already. Zara Sultana has accused allies of Jeremy Corbyn of overseeing a sexist boys' club. He says her attempts to sign up new members are unauthorised and should be ignored. And a museum's opened in Somerset to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Clark's Shoes. Shoemakers Museum is next to the company's headquarters in Street and houses more than 25,000 shoes.
It's 1997 when the streets of a housing scheme erupt.
Angry scenes at the Raplock estate in Stirling outside the house of a convicted paedophile.
At the heart of the crowd, Big Mags Heaney, an anti-paedophile campaigner who made headlines.
She wasn't the only person who stood up. She just happened to shout the loudest.
Dubbed the matriarch of a family from hell.
The amount of crimes committed by that family was stuff of legend.
I was so scared.
Crime Next Door, the ballad of Big Mags. Listen first on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Goalless at St James's Park, goalless at the Etihad in the 2 Champions League games involving the English clubs this evening. Second halves on the way on 5 Live and on Sports Extra, respectively. Meanwhile, at the World Athletics in Tokyo, Keely Hodgkinson has eased into the semi-finals of the women's 800 metres as she goes for her first world title. Catherine Merry and Alison Kirbishley were watching.
The 6th day here in Tokyo, a wonderful evening session. We had wind and rain, but it didn't dampen the enthusiasm of the fans or the world-class performances. Plenty of Brits in action. We'll talk about them shortly, but we have to start with the women's 400-metre final. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, 47.78 seconds, the second fastest athlete of all time. It was a final, Alison, where Amber Anning ran great. She finished 5th, like she did at the Paris Olympics last year, but the top 3 were a different class today.
Certainly the top one was. I mean, what we saw was phenomenal. 68,000 full in the stadium, and I think the one person who couldn't believe it was Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. She went down onto her haunches, shaking her head. I cannot believe that I've seen with my own eyes a woman go sub 48 seconds, jumping her from 7th on the all-time list to 2nd. it was astounding. Not only has she changed the world of 400 hurdles for the better, that event moved it on, but now she's doing it with a flat 4. Absolutely obliterated the world and Olympic champion in Paulino, the former world champion in NASA. But I think more impressively it was the clock. It was the time that she did, and quite understandably she's only just starting to go through the mix zone now. She's going to be a long night for her. She's just off to our right, draped in the stars and stripes, and everyone is going to want a piece of that woman tonight.
Yeah, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone now the second fastest ever, as was Marilide Paulino with her national record in silver running 47.98, going third all time. It was phenomenal. Let's drop down in distance though, Alison, the 200 metre semi-finals. Let's start with the British women. Amy Hunt, Dina Asher-Smith. We're talking about going second all time in terms of Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. Amy Hunt, second on the all-time British list with her 22.08 clocking.
And to be second Brit on the all-time list, usurping the great Kathy Cook. I mean, running quicker than the queen of sprinting. Back in the 80s, this woman was able to do 100, 200 and 400, and I think we've got our own now in Amy Hunt. The frustration of the 100, not making the 100 final clearly showed, but it was a very, very composed run. She had the Olympic bronze medalist in Brittany Brown on one side, she had the world champion from Jamaica, Sharika Jackson, on the other side. She held her own, she held her head and ran a perfect race for a 22.0. And I tell you what, looking now at the qualifiers, both her and Dina Asher-Smith, who qualified in the second semi-final, will be starting to have a bit of a sniff of a medal, because I think there's one there.
Well, let's talk about a sniff of a medal and somebody else like Amy Hunt who had fire in their belly at not making the 100 metre final. Zarnell Hughes in the men's 200 metre semi-finals, a sub-20 second clocking, looking a lot more comfortable.
Looking a lot happier, a lot more comfortable. He had the inside lane compared to Noah Lyles. Noah Lyles ran an unbelievable bend. Zarnell held back. He really did have to hold that bend hard, but he left his running for the home straight, and that's where it mattered. Qualified by right in second.
Let's go to 2 laps of the track. The rain was coming down for the men's 800 metres semi-finals.
Welcome back to the Etihad. Manchester City 0, Napoli 0. The team's just making their way back out onto the pitch. The 10 men of Napoli, they lost their captain Giovanni Di Lorenzo, a red card as he took out Erling Haaland as he was driving towards goal, denying a goal scoring opportunity, and he saw red. That was in the 20th minute. So Michael Brown, Napoli, they've navigated 25 minutes down to 10. It is going to be a big ask with the pressure that Manchester City had in that first half for them to see out another 45.
Yeah, it'll be some result if they manage to do it, but can they get forward as well? Can they create opportunities at the right time? That'll be something this manager will be asking, not just to stay in it, to try and contribute, to try and take the ball, try and take the chances. He knows when to do it. He'll have already prepped for these scenarios. They'll be very organised, as we know, with the manager. But City also going to have done their prep, and they'll know where the weaknesses are.
So we are back underway under the lights here at the Etihad. A very warm and balmy evening in Manchester tonight. A lot of short sleeves around the stadium, even myself, which is very rare for me, but it is a warm evening.
I'm sat in a coat. I must be going soft. I just put it on. I just haven't had time to really think about taking it off. I might have to do that in a second, but hopefully this game's going to hotten up, get some more chances. Can we get a breakthrough from either side? But certainly if Napoli can find an answer, that will open things up and City will come strong. But City will be patient, they'll wait. Some people will say, can they go a little bit early, a little bit quicker? That would be the message for me, but Pep knows over time he will grind the sides down.
Napoli have come out and they are already pressing higher than they did in the end of that first half. Højlund trying to put pressure on, and Guisa joining him, and Lobotka even getting forward. Donnarumma on the ball. But Napoli certainly playing higher up the pitch as Michael Brown takes his jacket off. You've even got long sleeves underneath the jacket.
See, you've got in my head now. I'm as a player in a football match, no one could ever get inside my head, but you have done. You said, right, you're too warm, you've got to take it off. I think I must be making you hot with it on.
I'm just used to a lot colder climates, I think, north of the border. Anyway, Manchester City coming forward.
Be -10 now, I think.
Rodri on the ball. He's got Gvardiol to his left-hand side, and now Manchester City coming forward with Doku, left edge of the penalty area, driving towards Politano, shuffling right, step over, gets the ball away, lovely ball in towards Reinders, but well cleared by Buongiorno, only as far as Rodri. So now City come forward down the right-hand side with Bernardo Silva. Got support from Diaz. Gvardiol, midway between the halfway line and the edge of the Napoli area. Diaz, Rodri, Manchester City again trying to draw this Napoli backline out. Doku to the edge of the byline, tries to cut it back, but it is cut out. And now Manchester City pick up a loose ball. So let me run you through the teams. Manchester City, as they were at the start against Man United, same starting 11. Ball clipped in towards Foden. It's cleared by Buongiorno and now over the head of Lobotka. But again, it's fallen to City feet. So Donnarumma in goal. The shot from Nico Riley, blocked. Falls to the feet of Doku. Doku driving towards the left edge of the penalty area, onto his right foot, touch inside to Reinders, shot away. He was crossing it for Haaland, but it was cleared by Bukema, who is down holding his head. Is out for a Manchester City corner. That was a dangerous ball across from Reinders.
He caught the first one. Do you know, he blocked the first shot, he felt his knee possibly. He's got across, blocked another, but he's got a little bit of discomfort. He's up now, a good position. Doku doing well. Reinders, he arrives quickly, snapshot, tries to go far post, and now City with another corner.
Right hand of Phil Foden, raise, in it goes towards the area, headed clear. So let me try and run you through this City team. No, let's not, because here comes Bernardo Silva. He's got Doku now on the right hand side, which is where one of his assists came from against Manchester United, on that right foot. O'Reilly gets it back from Diaz, edge of the area. Silva spins, Foden, left edge of the penalty area, back inside to Reinders. Reinders drops it back to Rodri. Rodri trying to find Doku. The sliding challenge comes in from Oliveira, but it falls to City feet. So City, Donnarumma in goal. A back four of O'Reilly, Gvardiol, Diaz and Kusanov. Rodri, Reinders in that midfield duo. Doku, Foden, Silva supporting Erling Haaland up front. And it is Reinders out to Doku. He switched onto that right hand side. Rodri, Reinders trying to flick it round the corner and spin, but Buongiorno is there to clear, and it will go out for Manchester City throw-in. So to the visitors, Milinkovic-Savic, who's had a fabulous game, in goal. Their back four now is Oliveira at left back, Buongiorno, Bukema and Politano, who's dropped back as the ball goes across the face of goal from Foden. There's nobody at the back post to touch it in. He puts his hands over his face. That was an opportunity. I think he was looking for that far post, Michael, but there wasn't anybody there just to knock it in when it dragged wide.
He's pulled it too far, actually. Great position. Doku causing problems. He's got good awareness. That square pass as people approach. Those midfield runs, the hard to sort of track for any midfield player. He strikes it left-footed, just across the face. Another chance gone away for City. They've got to find an answer. They've got to convert.
As Napoli come forward, ball down the left. Højlund, he's got two Manchester City players around him. He goes down under the pressure, and Anguissa's got his hands raised asking for the free kick. He's not going to get it, so I will continue with that Napoli team. Milinkovic-Savic in goal. It's a back four of Oliveira on the left, Buongiorno, Bukema, and it's Spinazzola at right back, Politano in front of him, Anguissa, Lobotka, McTominay and Rasmus Højlund leading the line. Down to 10 men, with the red card shown to Di Lorenzo early in the first half. And Napoli coming forward through Anguissa. Pep Guardiola not happy that the visitors are getting a little bit of joy further up the pitch.
Really. It's expected. They've got to have a little bit of territory. I mean, this is literally a couple of passes. This is what happens when you don't score. Pep Guardiola is waving his hands around.
He's not looking happy at all. Very frustrated figure at the moment as the ball into the area. Anguissa turns left edge, he pulls it back beautifully to the penalty spot. Nobody there. It was just ahead of Spinazzola, and Doku's able to clear, and now he ghosts past Politano, who pulls him back. That will be a yellow card for the man now wearing the armband for Napoli. Cynical foul as Doku tried to race clear.
Well, how do you stop him? Because he just dropped his shoulder, stepped inside. He'd literally left Politano, hasn't he? Pulled him back. Thinking, what else could I do? Let him drive through the middle. He decides to take a foul, but now you've not got any more.
Certainly does not, and that would make the evening go from bad to worse for Napoli should they get another red card. But at the moment they are very much still in this game, still goalless at the Etihad, despite being down to 10, the visitors, since the 20th minute. But Manchester City, the team asking all the questions. But that is a loose pass, which Politano allows to just cut across him before he gathers and drops it back to Spinazzola. Poor clearance though from Spinazzola, straight to Gvardiol, who does well under pressure from Højlund. And again Rodri looking to come forward. Lovely turn from Foden into the area with Reinders, onto his right foot, drops it to Nico Riley, who tries to find Foden. It's dropped and fallen though for Doku. Left foot cross, deep, looking for Silva. Beautiful touch from Silva on the far side. Drops it back to Gvardiol, looking to pull the trigger. It was sort of a kind of a probing pass through the Napoli defence, but straight into the arms of Milinkovic-Savic. And this is the big question for Pep Guardiola and for his Manchester City team. How do they find the crispness of play, the killer pass to create that opening?
I think they'll find it. I think it's a matter of time. You see, they're going to tire this Napoli side, as we know, but when Napoli get the ball, they've had a couple of chances. They've got to create an extra pass. Better now, Lobotka, he's brave enough to do it, to keep it, to stay on the ball. He's giving it away too many times.
Spinazzola looking long for Højlund, cleared though by Gvardiol, and Napoli are going to make another change, and it is going to be Politano, who's just picked up that yellow card, who goes off. He passes the captain armband to the man coming on, Juan Jesus. A centre-back. So a centre-back for a right winger. It looks like we're going to get an Antonio Conte back three.
We'll see how that goes, because he obviously realises that he's on a yellow card, can't take any more risk, he's going to get exposed, so decided to have a little shuffle. See how that changes, how it affects it. Is that really a good idea?
It was the tried and the tested and the very successful formation of last season as Napoli went on to win the Scudetto. He's changed it up this season. More midfielders brought into the club. He had to find a way to get them all in, notably Kevin De Bruyne in particular. So he went to the back four. Scott McTominay starting out on the left-hand side, but drifting in, allowed Kevin De Bruyne to just sit in between him and Anguissa. But De Bruyne sacrificed in the first half after the red card. And now Conte has gone to the back three once again. Does that set his intentions out? Would he be happy to leave here with the way things are?
Well, he's already said there's the answer.
Into Haaland, gets ahead on it, there's the only goal! One little ball in to Erling Haaland. The one chance he needed. A flicked header which looped over Milinkovic-Savic. And Erling Haaland is the fastest man to 50 goals in the Champions League. He's done it in his 49th appearance, and it is the goal that breaks the deadlock. It is the goal that puts Manchester City ahead. Who else but Haaland? Manchester City 1, Napoli 0.
This guy, he just waits for opportunities. Conte makes a decision. It's a great little flick from Foden as Haaland steps forward, central of the box. He knows where the goal is. He doesn't try and head it too hard. He doesn't head it into the ground. It's a wonderful ball. He has a little look, just dinks it over the goalkeeper. So calm, collective. There he goes, off running. Conte makes the change. I said it was dangerous. It didn't last long, probably a minute, and then they were punished.
Erling Haaland doing what Erling Haaland does best, and it gets a celebration from his manager. And if you want to put in context how quickly Erling Haaland has got to 50 Champions League goals, well, the record he's beaten was Ruud van Nistelrooy's of 62 games, so he has done it with 12 games to spare. He really is an incredible goal scorer. That is his 130th Manchester City goals in all competitions in his 151st appearance. And it just took that beautiful little flicked ball through the middle of that Napoli defence, and Haaland was onto it like an absolute flash with the deftest of finishes.
That's a different finish, isn't it, for him? We've seen many. We talked about that lunge to the back post. We've seen the acrobatic ones. We've seen strikes, taking 1v1s, and that's a nice little soft looping header. He's got the lot, hasn't he? Whenever he's in front of goal, understands what's needed. City now, just going to move it, go a little bit quicker, but they know they need a second one.
And Doku trying to provide it into the area onto his right foot, drops it for Foden inside, looking for Haaland. Eventually gets onto the second attempt, Haaland, and now with Doku, Haaland peeling in behind, but he goes to Foden. Back to goal, leaves it for Gvardiol. Just about every outfield player on the pitch camped around the edge of Napoli's penalty area, but it's Spinazzola who comes away with it. He's got only Højlund ahead of him, and the pass cut out by Gvardiol. Haaland into the path almost of Reinders, and Guisa though stops him getting on the end of it, but again he goes long, again it falls to City feet, and now it's all the way back with Donnarumma as Nico Gonzalez is getting ready below us to come on for Manchester City, getting plenty of instruction from Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, he's got a decision, hasn't he? Will he protect Rodri? Would that be one? Arsenal around the corner. Yes, he'll want to win it, but that's the difficulty of a manager at this level. He understands what's needed, but Conte makes the change. He got that one wrong because they conceded so quickly. It's cruel at times when you do that and you have the belief, but let's see what the change will be.
Well, Manchester City making it now, and it is indeed Rodri who does come off. The man who scored the only goal in the Champions League final as Manchester City were crowned winners. That 1-0 victory over Inter. So his night is over. He will rest up, like you say, Michael, for that big game on Sunday against Arsenal. So 1-0 here at the Etihad for Manchester City. There's been a goal at St James's Park. It has not gone for the home side though, and it is Marcus Rashford who has put Barcelona ahead in that one. Commentary of it available over on Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. So Newcastle 0, Barcelona 1. Elsewhere, Sporting 1, Kairat Almaty 0. And it is Frankfurt 3, Galatasaray 1. Earlier on this evening, Club Bruges beat Monaco 4-1, and Copenhagen and Leverkusen shared the spoils with some late drama, 2 apiece there. Highlights of all tonight's Champions League matches available on the BBC Sport website later on this evening, and also on BBC One, as Doku knocks it back to the edge of the area, but a foot prevents it getting to Nico O'Reilly, but it's fallen to Gvardiol, and Guisa goes down, clutching his face. The referee stops it, says it's a head injury. Must have got a little knock as he tussled for the ball there, and Guisa, he looks to be okay. Gives Pep Guardiola a chance to have a quick word with some of his players. He's calling a few over, but
it's an elbow. It's an elbow from Nico just into his face, but it's one of those, it's not a swing of an elbow, it's when he just gets close as he's making himself big to make an action. He's unfortunate, he gets caught. No wonder he's feeling that one.
Yeah, well, we are over the hour mark here at the Etihad, and Manchester City have found the breakthrough from who else but their number 9, Erling Haaland, with his 50th Champions League goal, as Doku now takes the ball down that left-hand side again. Nico into O'Reilly. Gvardiol moves it infield to Kasanov, and Diaz was under pressure from Højlund there, but manages to squeeze it through to Gvardiol. It's a frustrating night for Rasmus Højlund. He would have loved to have come back to Manchester and put on a show, but it's really, he's been an isolated figure up there.
Well, he has. It's so tough, but can you find a solution, an answer when you're so starved of the ball? He's got to wait, be patient. Haaland does that exceptionally well. Yes, there's more flow coming his way. City on the overload.
Into Doku, lovely pass from Nico Riley, but that is really well defended from Lobotka. Doku driving towards goal inside the area, and Lobotka got back quickly, got a toe in. It will be a Manchester City corner. But it looked to almost open up there for Doku. He's so quick off that left-hand side.
Very quick. Lobotka, the holding midfield player, he's there to see off danger. That little presence, but he gets across quite aggressively. Now City looking forward and looking to go direct in the central area with this set piece.
Left-footed, and it goes the head of Nico, but wide it goes. It looked like a well-worked move, that. Just Nico Gonzalez's header wide off the target, but nobody traced his run.
Bit square, wasn't it? It's a flat ball, always tough to try and just glance it on. He catches it quite square, well wide. Napoli decide to push everyone forward, try and get up the pitch, try and get some sort of momentum in a forward area. We haven't seen much of them. We did say which way you were going to look, left or right, in that first half.
It has been mostly left in the second half, but now Napoli move it forward into the run of Spinazzola. He's got Nico Riley for company, but he manages to flick it towards the penalty area, but it's straight into the arms of Donnarumma. And there's been a few that have been quite quiet tonight for Napoli, and one in particular, Scott McTominay. We haven't seen much of him. Such a good season.
He's covering so much ground. He's on that left-hand side. He's just filling slots. He probably will arguably be better in a more central role in this sort of setup, but you can't always do that. You haven't always got the players. You've got to feel like what's the best outcome. How can you argue with this manager? Down to our right-hand side, still pushing, still demanding more as Pep just finds different answers. Can we see a twist? Can City get this second goal? And they've got to do it quicker for me.
One thing you cannot say about Antonio Conte is that he's not passionate. He is all passion from the sidelines. A Champions League winner as a player at Juventus, beating Ajax in the final. As Doku comes forward, and he's found the finish this time. The ball through the middle, Doku onto his left foot. He just managed to find the angle to squeeze it in right across the face of goal into that far corner. And again, in the blink of an eye, City find a little bit of space, a little way to get in behind. This time it's Jeremy Doku who finds the finish, and Pep Guardiola applauds as the Manchester City players all engulf the little Belgian winger. Manchester City 2, Napoli 0.
Oh, magical from Doku. He sees spaces and then he just commits with pace. That's what can hurt you. And it looked like he was going to be going the other way, away from goal. He turns quickly, and then that's where his feet comes, drives into the space, slots it under the oncoming Milenkovic-Savic into the far corner. Goalkeeper couldn't get there because he's so quick. Just a little cheeky nutmeg. The goalkeeper slams the floor. Defensively can't get near him because he takes everybody out with that pace and direction. That's the difference when you do things like that. I talked about pace, I talked about needing to be quicker. What about that?
He just wriggled through a little tiny gap between two Napoli defenders, and even one of his own players in there. He just bundled his way through. And then when it was him one-on-one with the goalkeeper, the angle was tight, but he found the finish between the legs of Milenkovic-Savic. And since Napoli have gone to this back three, they've conceded twice. And you have to say, Michael, it's got to be game over now.
Yeah, you certainly think so. But I always find it hard to say that with a Manchester City side who've made things very difficult at times. Here he goes, Dormi Doku pushing back. Now he just checks and waits. It allows a bit more patience.
Ball in, looking for Haaland, doesn't get the little flick out to Doku, and Spinazzola is able to launch it clear, and Anguissa will get on the end of it. Gvardiol tried to clear it, missed it completely. Now Anguissa driving towards the Manchester City area, checks back, Lobotka now, back to Anguissa on this right hand side, but his pass is really poor, and Doku just picks that up and says thank you very much, and he's looks a tired figure, Anguissa.
Pep's going crazy. Josko Gvardiol tried to flick it inside, missed it. Anguissa just makes great runs, but Pep's jumping out the technical area about the recovery runs of Manchester City. Then they could go quick. Doku gets it. He just says, wait, let's set it up. Be patient. Let's not get counted. Let's not do anything daft, because that was a little moment there. City got square on. Oh, this is an interesting substitution for Pep Guardiola. He's just next to him now.
Yeah, the Brazilian Savinho is stripped and ready to come on. Just putting a little bit of tape around the bottom of his socks as Nico O'Reilly drives towards the penalty area, inside to Foden. Foden back to O'Reilly. Oh, just got the ball tangled under his feet a little bit as he sort of looks to the sky. That was nearly an opening for the young fullback.
That was a bit of showboating from now a little bit more of a senior player from the academy, Phil Foden, to another new recruit, Nico O'Reilly, driving from left back into positions, little 1-2s, very clever. That reverse pass almost gets in, but just under his feet. And what's the change going to be for Pep? Doku done so well.
Yeah, Doku who's making way. So that goal from Jeremy Doku to make it 2-0, his last real piece of action, and he gets a huge arm round the shoulder from his manager as he walks off, and Savinho takes his place on the left hand side. 2-0 to Manchester City here. It is now 2-0 to Barcelona at St James's Park. Do you want to guess who scored, Michael?
Go on then.
Marcus Rashford.
Oh, it's
his second of the evening.
Write him off when you dare do it. He just keeps coming back, doesn't he? This could be a really good move for him. Wonderful player. Let's see. We hope he gets back to his best. England could do with that.
Well, he's certainly having a nice return to English shores this evening at St James's Park as Savinho gets his first chance to run and look inside for Foden. Gets it a second time, back to Savinho. Lovely touch from Foden, but he's pushed wide. Savinho, cross comes in from Silva, and it is deflected out for a corner. That was lovely from Phil Foden.
Yeah, Phil Foden, delighted he's back, playing, getting minutes. He's just an infectious player who had a difficult season. Now finding his way into the team. That Manchester derby goal, setting that confidence back. That Phil Foden we know has contributed in a big way tonight also. You know, City putting pressure on.
Corner is short to the edge of the area. Back to Foden, in with the in-swinger, but Milinkovic-Savic able to claim it as we tick into the final 20 minutes of this Champions League opener for these two teams. Manchester City leading by 2-0. That is also the scoreline at St James's Park, but not for the home side. It is Barcelona who lead there as Napoli prepared to make a trio of substitutions. So Anguissa will make way for Elmas in the first of those changes. Also, Rasmus Højlund will make way. David Neres coming on for him. There's the boos for the former, well, technically current Manchester United man on loan, but with an option to buy at the end of the season for Napoli. And also Billy Gilmour makes his way onto the field. He replaces Lobotka. So a trio of changes for the visitors as they try to make something happen. And first touch for Neres finds Gilmore, but it's ended up back at Milinkovic-Savic.
Representation tonight from Scotland is increasing.
It is indeed. And do you know, there is actually a pizza that was made in Glasgow in a restaurant in honour of McTominay and Gilmore moving to Napoli. I could give you a quiz and see if you can guess what the toppings were.
We'll save that whenever you're ready. Yeah, a lovely player, Billy Gilmore. I've known him right throughout his junior career. Met him early on. Really tidy, nice player. Obviously, Lobotka, Guisa and De Bruyne now are keeping him out of the team. He's a great backup for Conte. It's a shame he can't get a few more minutes.
Yeah, he has been a fabulous player. 24 years old now, Billy Gilmore, but a mainstay of the Scotland national team and already a Champions League winner with Chelsea.
Yeah, amazing. Both him and McTominay's family are here down tonight to watch them both, which is great to see for them, how well they're doing when they leave the country.
They've certainly enjoyed life in Italy, and now Napoli come forward over the halfway line, and it's out with Spinazzola on this right hand side. Bodies getting forward for Napoli into Gilmore, who's twisting back onto his right hand side and finds Spinazzola again on that right touchline, gets it back, the little Scot, and drops it back to Buongiorno. Any update on what you think the toppings might have been?
Cheese, tomato. Have we got any of them? Have we got any of them right yet so far?
Well, the pizza was buffalo mozzarella, haggis, meatballs, mascarpone, and whiskey sauce.
Yeah, that was standard. That's a standard pizza. You know.
I'm not sure it would go down with too many, but apparently it was very popular.
Have you tried it?
I have not tried it. I should really do that.
That's the next game we do. I want an update on it.
Yeah. But yeah, real excitement when the two Scottish boys went over to Napoli, such an iconic club in football from the days of Diego Maradona, but a number of Scottish players making their way over to Serie A in recent years. Two of them on the field of play here this evening now as Manchester City come forward again as we head towards the 75-minute mark. Manchester City will be happy to see this game out now, Michael, but you always know that treacherous 2-0 scoreline, should they have a little glimpse and concentration and allow Napoli back in, it could get a little bit nervy. But at the moment,
you just don't want that chase, do you, at the end? You don't want that chase at the end. No, you want to just make sure you've got full control. That's the message from Pep. And you just ease yourself in towards the end of the game, because you keep saying it, that huge game at the weekend. You can't be complacent and look too much into that, but you've ever got a better way of just moving the ball. It's flat, just waiting. Napoli also as well thinking, right, we'll also must take this. We don't want to get a real battering. We've done so well at the start of this season.
It has been an excellent start to the season for Napoli in the defence of their Serie A title. 3 wins from 3, albeit they needed a 90th minute goal to get past Cagliari, but they found a way and they sit top once again off Serie A, level on points with Juventus, who also have 3 wins from 3. But it's going to be a different season to last season for Antonio Conte, having to battle on a European front as well as a domestic front, something that certainly aided him last season as he led Napoli to the title in his first season in charge.
I commentated on that game against Cagliari and just felt they just kept pushing, and Guisa just made it into the penalty area at the end. The celebration, they felt the togetherness in the side. We think we showed that in the first half of the defensive setup. Yes, they didn't get out, they didn't create much against the City side who was so tough when they're in the stride to do that. But they've got to take something from it. It was a decision that their captain made, Lorenzo, which he was so close, but he got caught out. Mistakes happen, and that's what's given them no chance this evening.
And now Bernardo Silva looks to try and make it worse for Napoli. The ball in, drops to Savinio, edge of the area, onto his left foot, cuts it across, but it's cleared before it can reach the foot of Nico Riley. Only as far though as Nico Gonzalez, who drops it back for Diaz. And now Savinio gets another chance from this left-hand side. Again, he tries to skip past Spinazzola. He goes down under pressure. The referee's having a look, but he's pointed for the goal kick. That was right on the edge of the penalty area. Savinio gave the referee a long look. He's still giving him a long look. We'll get another chance to have a see of it, but Spinazzola challenging with Savinio. Anything for you?
Yeah, there wasn't much in it. I think the legs went below Savinio. Defensively, very, very strong there. It's difficult when a wide player pushes you right into that space. But yeah, referee had a look, decided against it. City still probing, asking different questions from different angles. And here's the changes from Pep, as we expected. He'll be looking towards the weekend. It's dangerous to do it. He obviously feels confident. I think the players he's got available on the bench, he should have every faith that they can do the job.
Yeah, it's a trio of changes getting ready. I thought it was just the two, but it will be three, with Rico Lewis also getting stripped down below us.
It's always great for the commentator when there's three substitutions at once. You have to a bit of a scamper around to
stickers everywhere.
Stickers everywhere, yeah. I'm watching. But here's Rico Lewis, Nathan Ake, Oscar Bob. I hope he achieves. He had a bad injury last season, and he's a wonderful talent. He started the season, and I felt like he would have been in for some time. He's now back on the bench. He's very versatile.
Yeah, big opportunity for some of Manchester City's younger players. The injury list is lengthier than I'm sure Pep would like at the moment, with Marmoush, Cherki, Kovacic, Aït-Nouri all out. Calvin Phillips not part of the Champions League squad. So an opportunity for these young players to gain valuable minutes, and it will be Reinders coming off for Bob in the first of the three changes. So Oscar Bob making his 37th appearance this evening for Manchester City. Gvardiol, another coming off. He will be replaced by Nathan Ake, and they are preserving their man up front. Erling Haaland, scorer of the opening goal here this evening. He will make way, he will refresh those legs, because he will be required to go again, that is for sure, on Sunday in that huge game against Arsenal.
You see Oscar Bob replaces Haaland as a number 9. I talked about being versatile. A lot of people wouldn't have thought he'd go as a number 9. Savinio left hand side, Bernardo stays right. Rico Lewis just drops into the middle of the pitch to support where Reinders was just heading. Ake obviously slotting in left-sided centre-back for Josko Gvardiol. The experience now, what he brings. It's been a partnership many occasions, hasn't it? Him and Ruben Diaz.
As Manchester City come forward, stopped though by Scott McTominay, who's now got Bob scrapping at his heels, but he manages to knock it clear, and now Gilmour with the ball out to that left-hand side, but cut out by Silva. Ake, bright orange boots just gleaming in the floodlights at the Etihad. Clear, warm night in Manchester. We're into the final 9 minutes. Manchester City comfortable with our 2-0 lead against the 10 men off Napoli, as they look for an opening. The substitutes all coming on, all wanting to impress. It's a huge game at the weekend at the Emirates. They will want to play a part in that. Savinho, 2 to get past, so he checks back, drops it back to Diaz. And Manchester City, they have such a strong Champions League home record, unbeaten in the last 21 group stage matches here at home, winning 18 of them. They look certain to make that 22. With the way things are sitting this evening at this stage, just 8 minutes plus added time. Savinho inside to O'Reilly, gets it back from Ake. City just moving the ball around. Savinho left hand side now, tries to drive towards the penalty area, into the left edge, goes towards the byline, chops back though, no room for the cross. Now he looks for options, gets support from Ake, back to Savinho, plays a little 1-2 with Oscar Bob and O'Reilly, and now Bob is challenged fairly and strongly by Bukema. Napoli win possession back, but they are deep in their own half as Elmas tries to get clear. He's dispossessed. Pep Guardiola still prowling around the edge of his technical area. Savinho cross blocked into the arms of Milinkovic-Savic, stops the corner. Pep Guardiola, this is his 17th Champions League campaign, takes him level with Jose Mourinho.
He's got some record, hasn't he? Just keeps ticking them off. New challenges, new chapters, different ways of playing, different personnel on this one as well. New coaching staff, come and test me out, what he says. That's the message, not just the players. I need to freshen things up. It's been a good performance overall. Yes, it's been made easy, but with the 10 men, but City earned it. City put them under pressure to make that decision. Seemed comfortable. It's a nice start. It was last year in the Champions League. They felt like you could recover later on with the games in a different format. Important to get a win straight away.
It is, and he spoke about that in the build-up to this game, because last season they didn't win their opening game of the Champions League. They drew it also at home against the Italian champions Inter last season, who went on to reach the final, but Manchester City never really fully got going in the Champions League last season. They lost 5 of the last 7 games, which is as many as they'd lost in the previous 61 games in the competition combined. Had to go through the playoff stage where they met Real Madrid, who'd also had a very average group stage run of games, and it was the Spaniards who went through to the last 16. So Manchester City knocked out before the competition for them, for a team of their calibre, really got going.
I was doing a lot of the games, you just felt, okay, there's 2 or 3 games at the end, you'll just win those and qualify, and that's what you felt in this situation. But playing everybody once is much harder. The top teams don't get a look at them so much regarding, right, we know what happened last time, we know how to go and punish them. It's much more work for the analysts, their preparation, different people to come up against, and it was interesting.
Yeah, certainly a format that a lot of people felt perhaps favoured the clubs who maybe traditionally would have been finishing 3rd or 4th in the smaller group stage, multiple group stage format of the competition, rather than those that were used to winning the first few games and ensuring that their progression was already secured before the last game or so of that group stage. But it's all different now, this new format. I enjoyed the new format last season, I have to say.
I was enjoying it for a while, and then I thought I was looking forward to the later stages with a lot of Manchester City games, but it's always good. We want to mix, we want new people coming to cause problems all around Europe. It's a wonderful competition.
Manchester City have started their new campaign off very, very well. Clean sheet, 2 goals so far, as the ball just ricochets off Oscar Bob as he goes for it, and there's an injury on the edge of the area. I think it's Buongiorno that's down, the Napoli centre half, as he just tried to challenge Bob for that ball. It skimmed through to the grateful hands of Milinkovic-Savic, but he looks to be in a little bit of pain, Buongiorno. He's getting helped to his feet now by Foden.
I think you look at the game now, Manchester City is saying job done, we want to leave it. I feel like the Napoli players are going, well, we've got 10 men, we've given absolutely everything, we know we're not going to win. We'll look towards the weekend. You know, it's like, it's just later stages of games that you know you can't control, you know you can't change, you can't do anything about it. It's gone a little bit flat, a little bit dead, as we've just got a little glance on the camera there of Kevin De Bruyne, as those fans just give him a little bit of a sing-song as they start to leave the stadium. You might not get to see him here again.
Yes, and his return to the Etihad was cut short. The player sacrificed by Antonio Conte after the red card to Di Lorenzo. He had to put on another defender, Conte, and it was Kevin De Bruyne on his return who was the man who made way for that substitution. But Neres picks up a loose ball now. He's all on his own, but he's driving forward. He's now got support on the left-hand side from Oliveira. Napoli players trying to get forward to give some support. Oliveira does well. And now McTominay to Gilmour. Napoli keeping possession. They've dropped it back though. It's back with Buongiorno now onto the halfway line with Bukema and Spinazzola. Napoli just, I think, happy perhaps just to have a little bit of the ball for a change.
If you've seen Antonio Conte though, he felt like there was a break. He's screaming to play the forward pass. He always thinks, you never know, can they just create something? But they're passing now just for the sake of keeping the ball. I get it, but you've got to make a pass forward. Someone's got to make a run. Might as well have a go.
Billy Gilmour on the ball, passes to Scotland teammate Scott McTominay, gets it back on the halfway line. He's just looking for that run, that option, nothing ahead of him.
He wants to play it, but he also knows that if he gives it away, they won't get it back for another few minutes.
That is the problem when you play Manchester City. Fourth official just standing below us with the board to let us know how much added time as we tick towards the 90th minute. And it is Manchester City in possession on the halfway line. It is Erling Haaland and Jeremy Doku's goals that are the difference between the two sides. Has there been and it's 2 minutes added to the 90. Has there been a standout for you this evening, Michael, or has it been a team performance from City that's impressed you the most?
I think we've got to look. Jeremy Doku was the exciting outlet, wasn't he? At times, Phil Foden contributing in the middle of the pitch. Nico O'Reilly joining in. We can keep going, can't we? Rodri getting minutes. It's where do we actually stand on it? Bernardo Silva, that trickery, created opportunities, adding pressure early on. But defensively, City have looked sound. You can understand why is that, because of the threat that wasn't really there. But you already play what's in front of you, play the game exactly as it comes out. But he's desperate to have a go, isn't he? Savinho decides against it, but be a real solid performance. Happy to take the points and really ended in the correct manner with the run of fixtures coming forward.
Yeah, it's a tough run of fixtures, starting with that trip to the Emirates on Sunday. Arsenal, of course, have had a couple of days extra rest. They played on Tuesday night, their victory against Athletic Bilbao. Will that play a part, do you think, in what happens or may not happen on Sunday? It's got to. I think if you said to Pep Guardiola, could he have more rest going into this game, he'd certainly take it. And it is, especially at this stage of the season, when some of these players haven't played too many minutes to go 3 games in a week, to balance it correctly, the extra time. But it's been a nice, as I say, 30 minutes for City where they've not actually been sort of put underneath pressure and
turned around and it's been calm and collected from them.
Well, there will be live commentary on Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds off that really tasty clash at the Emirates between Arsenal and Manchester City. 4:30 on Sunday, that one kicks off. It follows commentary of Sunderland against Aston Villa, which is an interesting one given that the two teams' starts to the season. Sunderland been very strong at home. And there is the full-time whistle. It draws to an end this opening match for Manchester City and Napoli in this season's Champions League, and it is the home side, the light blue of City, who come out on top. 2 goals on the night. The first, a delicate little header that flicked over the top of the diving Milinkovic-Savic from Erling Haaland as he notched up 50 goals in the Champions League in just 49 appearances. And then Jeremy Doku, seeing the space that nobody else could see, bundling his way through it, and with a really nice finish from a tight angle through the legs of Milinkovic-Savic. But the game turned really in the first half. It became a bit of a mountain to climb for Napoli when they had their captain sent off as he pulled down Erling Haaland, denying the obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Nothing the referee could do but brandish the red card, and that made it a difficult night, infinitely more tricky for Napoli, and eventually Manchester City found a way to punish them. And we can see Kevin De Bruyne out on the pitch with his former teammates all around him. He is such a favourite here, but it's not ended in joy tonight for De Bruyne on his return. A few glum faces in the dark shirts of Napoli, but Manchester City well deserving of their victory tonight, Michael.
Yeah, extremely well deserved. They put pressure on, the momentum of their passing, good possession. Napoli just decided to retreat and give City the ball, said come and break through us, and they were finding it tough. Milinkovic-Savic in goal, made some good saves and looked to have a great presence, but the one decision where it went long into Haaland, then he spun it behind. Lorenzo thought he had it, made a decision to tackle, and at that point the red card was given and it was always going to be uphill. City completely moved the ball and dominated the rest of the game, and then it was all about Phil Foden, Erling Haaland with that lovely little deft header, and Doku, the brilliance of wide players with pace running at people to finally get that goal, and it was very easy in the end for City.
The Napoli players go over to applaud their supporters, who have been absolutely brilliant throughout the night. They've been loud, they've supported their team. There is real positivity around Napoli after winning that title last season. The reinforcements and strengthening that Antonio Conte has been able to do in the summer in terms of his squad. They've won 3 out of 3 to start their season, but that run has come unstuck here at the Etihad, but down to 10 men for so long in this game, they will feel like they have seen their players give everything this evening, and it will be back to Serie A, back to defending their title before their Champions League trail continues. Next up for them, a home tie against Sporting. But it is now all eyes on Kevin De Bruyne. He's wandering round all 4 stands just now. He's gone to the Napoli supporters with his team, and now he's being given the opportunity to lead the line.
Amazing.
To lead the Manchester City players, to applaud all the home fans that are left inside the stadium. It's a beautiful sight.
It's like he's the captain leading Manchester City around on their lap of honour. And now he's almost thinking, I've got to leave them a little bit, get forward, because I might have done this too much. But legends, players of the game you've admired. It's a sad day now. I thought I'd already said that once before. I won't see him again here at the Etihad. And it's going to get less and less, that percentage of doing so. The smiles are there. What a player. He just gets a few hugs as he comes off. But the City players, Donnarumma enjoying his early life as Manchester City have that lap of honour. Great start of the Champions League.
Yeah, big sign in the Manchester City end saying King Kev, once a blue, always a blue. A special night for him, sadly cut short as he was taken off the field early. Tactical changes from Antonio Conte, no emotion in those sorts of decisions made by the Italian boss. And now Kevin De Bruyne gives a wave as he wanders back up that Etihad tunnel. He thought he'd done it for the last time. He has been able to do it one more time, and he's now followed by all the Manchester City players. And it is Manchester City who put 3 points on the board to start their Champions League campaign. The perfect start. 2 goals, a clean sheet, 3 points. Job done. It's finished here at the Etihad. Manchester City 2, Napoli 0.